I'm sure everybody remembers the movie The Day After Tomorrow, polar caps melting, Jake Gyllenhaal being chased by Arctic animals in the middle of New York. Even though this movie was overly exaggerated, like we can't have any new ice age anytime soon, it stems from some sort of reality. There are many different stances people have when it comes to global warming. One stance I'm going to be taking today is that global warming is real. It's a real thing. It could happen. The reason why I'm interested in talking about global warming today is because in my oceanography class we just came on the topic of environmental issues, and this is one that we had a lot of debates about. Today I'm going to be presenting statistics, examples, to show you that global warming is a reality and explain several ways we can prevent our world from hurting anymore. One of the main voices that helps policymakers and people learn about global warming is the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It's a panel of scientists, researchers from different countries that come together every once in a while to write a report about how climate change is being caused by man-made stuff like carbon dioxide from cars and stuff. They write 3 reports. They had one in 1990, one in 1992, and one in 2007. And one of their findings from the report is that, according to the IPCC climate change report, carbon dioxide is the most anthropogenic man-made, the most important anthropogenic man-made greenhouse gas. But too much greenhouse gas could hurt us, as you can tell. The global atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide has increased from a pre-industrial value. Like I said, too much carbon dioxide is bad, essentially. Over the 11 of the last 12 years, 1995 to 2006, ranked among the 12 warmest years, and it was one of the 12 warmest years that we had so far. So basically, in 1995 was warmer than June 1995 was warmer than June 1965. And then widespread decreases in glaciers and ice caps have contributed to sea level rises. So these are all the findings that they found in their 2007 report. And it's kind of hard to be a cynic about global warming when facts and figures are right in front of you. Global warming is affecting everybody, even people who do not know what global warming is. I recently read an article on bbcnews.com about a lake in Africa, Lake Chad, which is the 3rd biggest lake in Africa. It's actually drying up, so all the villages around Lake Chad, they depend on fishing, their livelihood comes from that lake. So the lake is drying up, so they have no way to make money, no way anything. And sadly these farmers don't know what's going on. And so one quote from a farmer was, "I don't know what global warming is, but I do know it is dying. The lake is dying, and we are all dying with it." And sadly, since this lake is drying out, there's a lot of bloodshed happening in that area around Lake Chad, which is very sad. Sadly, even after hearing these personal experiences, the hardcore facts supplied by the IPCC, there are many people who still believe global warming is a myth. People like Senator Inofre, a senator from Oklahoma. Man-made global warming is the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on the American people. And for all of us who believe that global warming is actually real and that we can actually feel the side effects of it getting hotter and hotter, like it shouldn't be this hot in April. Hello. And that, polar caps are melting in Antarctica, and that fishermen from Europe have to come to Alaska to fish, even though there's not enough fish in Alaska to begin with because of global warming. It's just sad that people still think that way. But here's the top 10 things that you can do to help postpone or even prevent possible global warming from happening. First, you can use compact fluorescent bulbs to save energy. You can bring those cloth bags like they have at Target. Pay $1, get a cloth bag. You can fill your dishwasher. Don't put like 4 dishes in there and then start it up. Make sure you have a lot put in there. Saves a ton of energy. Use recycled paper. That's kind of a given. Turn off your computer. I'm pretty horrible with that. I have 2 computers. I'm pretty sure they're both on right now. Take shorter showers. You can just quickly hurry up and stuff. Buy products locally. That's actually a big one. Support our local growers because it's hard what they do, and plus the money and energy that it takes to bring the food from like Colorado to here, you could just buy California grown stuff, and then buy a hybrid car, or if we can't do that, carpool, bike, do anything you can. And one important one is wear a sweater, because instead of turning your temperature up in your house to put a sweater on and keeps you warm. Yeah. Today you learned about the IPCC, a panel that continues to try to educate makers that global warming does exist, and about people that are experiencing the harsh effects of global warming that's threatening their very livelihood. If you want the Earth to be here for your families, then I suggest to take my suggestions seriously and fight global warming. Thank you.
So, Kelsey, what did you think?
I liked it. There's a lot of information in there. I think you could have done a little bit more citing, though, from where your resources were. And I don't know if it's just because you're nervous, but you paused a lot and you didn't know where you were heading sometimes, it seemed like. And you're a little script dependent, but when you weren't looking at the script, you had really good eye contact, and your voice was very strong, and you had really good points.
All right, you start off with an argument about global warming being real, and then it kind of switches to some suggestions about it. So you've got a claim of fact at first, and then a claim of policy at the end. You're mixing those two things. I think that you need the more general statement, that we need to act in order to control global warming. Make it a claim of policy from the very beginning, and then it'll be clear what the real purpose of your speech is. The structure, you do kind of follow a little bit of a motivated sequence. There's a discussion of the need issue, but that's primarily on the issue of fact. What establishes something as a fact, and you say it's the IPCC, they've got these criteria, and we should believe what they say. There is a discussion of doubters, people who subscribe to the notion that it's a myth, but you generally don't talk about what reasons they have for doubting global warming theories. There's no attempt to address those doubts. You rely on the IPCC data, for example, on the temperature for a 10-year period going up, and your other big example is the Lake Chad issue that's going on. There needs to be some explanation about how Lake Chad is being affected by global warming. I don't know if the lake is getting smaller in size because the water is evaporating, or because the tributaries that feed into it are not providing as much, or if the water comes from some location that it's all dried up. There's no explanation of the connection there to global warming, and I'm sure there is one, but it's not very clear in your presentation. There was one point where you suggested that the water level of the oceans is rising, but I didn't get any data on that. I did get the data about that 10-year period that you're talking about, which, by the way, seemed a little bit strange later on because you're telling us what we should do in order to deal with global warming and reduce our energy use is wear a sweater, and I thought, it's getting hotter. What the hell do I need a sweater for? That seems to be inconsistent information. And I know that there is a connection there because you're really talking about energy savings and that the energy usage that we have is about carbon dioxide. That's the way that you need to develop that argument. And I just don't think it came out as clearly as it could. I'm sorry, I need